Hi guys, welcome to the Resolve tutorial sessions. So this video is really specific to certain people who are messaging me on some advice on purchasing a new system as well as using an editing software in their current system. So what I saw is a lot of people want to actually, edit a video inside their system, but the thing that is holding them back is the system itself. So what I mean is people out there, like most of the people out there is not actually buying a dedicated editing system for their work. So I can't blame them because they are working on different fields and they want to actually edit their video so that they get an exposure, and video is the main form of content in this century. So the golden tip that I really want you guys to know, and it's kind of free for everyone, is use Davinci. And it will be hard for the first 1 month, I guess, but once you get the hang of it, it's really useful. Two reasons. First reason is that Davinci is absolutely free. If you're downloading Davinci 15, it's absolutely free, and you essentially are getting the whole package without even paying a penny. Okay, so that's a really good thing. And secondly, the processing capacity of Davinci is really low compared to other editing softwares. So if you're using Mac systems, then definitely go for Final Cut, because I think that will be useful for the Mac people. That is Apple people. Okay, so people who have money, people who have choices. Okay, and so coming to the second part of the problem, that is the system really crashes here and there. So even when I recommend Davinci to people come reverting back to me and saying that, dude, this is actually crashing again and I can't actually use it because I can't see what actually I have edited. That's because your system is not really, in this best performance. But you can still use that system to crank up to its best performance. That's the beauty of Davinci. Okay, so let's get into the editing space. So what you see here is actually a 4K footage which we have shot. I have muted the track so that it doesn't really disturb the tutorial. So this is a 4K footage. So if you go to the metadata, you can see that it's a 4K footage here. 3840 into 2160, that is a 4K. And this is shot by Manas Murali in his brand new A6400, and it's a beautiful 4K footage. So my system is actually not a very best system, but it's upgraded to its max point so that I won't really, I'm not a person who uses PC, so I do all my editing in my laptop, which is kind of a weird thing for editor, but it's not a disadvantage. It has its pros and cons. So I'm just clocking my system so that you can see that what will happen into your system when you have a footage. So now my system is not clocked, so I'm actually adding a little bit of color grade to it. So I have actually done this color grade. It's not really fancy, it's just a color grade so that my system really chokes on the whole process of this video. So as well as I'm adding a fusion node, this is so the point that I'm actually trying to make is I'm actually trying to clog my system. Okay, so what I did here is nothing really fancy. I'm actually doing a lot of effects inside a video so that my computer doesn't take it. So if I play it right now, it's kind of really slow, it's really stucky right now. This is the usual thing that will happen to your normal PC when you play 4K footage, or any kind of, if you do any kind of basic color grading on a 1080p, it really slows down the video. So one way to actually know what is happening here is if you look at this space, which is the left top corner, you can see actually what frame rate it's actually playing in. Now if you see there is a frame rate like 4.75, it's actually a 25 FPS video, I guess. Let's see, it's a 30 FPS video, and it's actually playing at around 4 FPS. That is really slow. So if you see here, this is at 24 FPS, it's playing at 24 FPS and it's really smooth, but here it's not really smooth. So how do we make it smooth? So the traditional way is to optimize the video. So how do you optimize the video? Select the media which you want to optimize, right click it and go for generate optimized media. Okay. Now, so I don't really recommend using optimized media. The main thing is because it's kind of a really slow process. You have to wait till that optimized media is generated, which is kind of a real kick in the. So how do we tackle this solution? In Resolve, there is something known as dynamic rendering, and for those guys who are using MacBooks and FCP, then there is something that is called a real-time rendering, which is a really big thing in FCP, and I think that's the only prominent really difference there is, and a lot of external plugins. But enough of that. What actually Resolve does is they also have this real-time rendering, but is under a different name. So how do we on this real-time rendering? Just go to the playback, and if you're selecting render cache, you could see that it's selected as none. If you're a new Davinci user, you have to select it to user. So what it does is immediately you can see a red bar coming up on the timeline, and this is the red bar which is actually determining the smoothness of the playback. So the red means the Davinci is actually compiling and rendering it on real time while you can edit. You can actually edit and you can cut the video here and you can edit, and at the same time the rendering is actually happening here. So what is the difference? The difference is that you don't have to wait till the optimized media is completed, and you have to go again and check it. Now if you see that the whole thing turned blue from red, so what it means is this whole thing has been optimized by Davinci Resolve. Now if you play back right now, we have a fixed 24 fps playback. So now if you can see here, you can see that you are getting a 24 fps playback. And that is it. So if you guys have a really bad laptop at home and you really want to edit any kind of stuff, then go for the Davinci Resolve and change the playback to render and user. So that it'll be a separate video on what is the advantage of optimizing media and what is the limitation of this rendering cache. So in simple words, the main limitation is that if you are having any kind of 3D, Fusion 3D tracking or something which is really heavy to process, then it would be better to optimize the media. That is the sole reason of optimizing the media. It's not for actually a light task. So if you are having a really big task going on in the video, then you can use the optimized media. Otherwise, just switch the render cache to user, everything will be fine. So hope you guys love this video. So as always, you know what to do if you like this video. Then if you have any kind of editing queries, then do comment on the comment section. If it's in my knowledge, I would definitely make a separate video so that I can help you guys. So hope to see you in the next one as usual. Peace.